This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per top.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 units sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka.
Many of you who I've met in person have seen my unbelievable dashboards that I built. You know, I'm an analytics-like crazy person. I love the data, and I love presenting the data in beautiful dashboards that my team can use on their mobile devices, their phones, and TVs throughout the office. Now, the way I do this without having to hire a big development team is at nathanlatka.com/analytics. It's using a company called Clipfolio, and I'll tell you more later on in the show how I use them. It's nathanlatka.com/analytics. This is episode 642. Coming up tomorrow morning, you'll learn from John Ferreira, the CEO of Nimble CRM. They passed $1.5 million in annual recurring revenue last year, now doing about $200,000 in monthly recurring revenue as the CRM space really heats up. Will he win? Good morning, everybody. Nathan Latka here. My guest this morning is Ben Cantey. He's a San Francisco entrepreneur who's passionate about solving problems and changing lives through technology. He teaches entrepreneurship and lean methodology at universities, high schools, and corporations in his free time, and he's launching some badass technology with a handful of mad geniuses in the parking space. Ben, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely, Nathan. Thanks for the time.
Hey, thanks for coming on. So the company is called ParkEvergreen.com. Tell us what it does and how do you make it sustainable? How do you make money?
Definitely. Well, we are revolutionizing the way that parking is sold and managed at airports. Airports currently use a whole stack of services, suppliers, vendors, contractors, hardware, all of it completely outdated. We come in and clean up that entire mess with our simple software solution. So it's pretty cool.
So are you helping the airports manage it better with like data, or are you helping consumers find the open spot on an airport faster?
It's actually both. So we use geolocation technology to bring physical parking online where it can be managed with our cloud-based control panel. And then travelers, business travelers, frequent travelers can use our mobile app to find, reserve, pay for parking, and then even find their car when they get back from their trip.
So what's the business model? I mean, is this a marketplace model?
It is a bit. However, the marketplace is a little easier than some because people show up to the airport and they have to park. So user acquisition is a little bit easier on our side. Never easy to get people to download an app, but a little easier in this case. And then it's more focused on bookending the traveler experience for us. That's what we're truly passionate about. All of us came from consulting backgrounds, traveling 3-4 times a month. So something we're all pretty passionate about.
Well, so let's get more kind of clear on the model before I get more into your story. So like, tell me about the last dollar of revenue you made. Who paid it and how'd you make it?
Well, the last dollar of revenue we made was actually when we were running our off-street parking. We started this as like the classic fine pay for parking, but street parking, surface lots, parking garages. So we switched our model in December and started going after airports pretty hard. We've got 3 deals booked, and those are kind of under a cone of silence because we're working with cities. So I can't go into too much detail, but we'll book our first revenue in June. And we'll actually move from 0 to about $170,000 in MRR starting in July, and then keep scaling from there. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, and that's booked, right? Like you have contracts signed for the 177 in MRR?
Yes, those contracts will be signed in the next week and a half, which is why I can't really discuss too much.
Okay, got it. So you're not quite at the finish line, but it feels good.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where you realize you've got product market fit, which goes way beyond just market timing. You know, the top U.S. airports, actually most U.S. airports right now are launching 5 to 20 year modernization projects, which include, massive budgets, but also a focus on parking. And then even though it sounds fluffy, the traveler experience, which is really important to them now.
Why is there so much, this is, don't be offended by this, but like for me, I learned very quickly when I go on like a 7-day trip here in Austin and I go park my car at the airport and I leave and it costs me between $60 and $80 to leave my car there each time. It's much cheaper to get the Uber ride for $15 to the airport, and when I land another 15, so it's 30 versus 80. Why are you going all in on parking? I mean, you don't think kind of Lyft and Uber and these companies are going to eat that market up?
There's an interesting balance there. You've got a lot of frequent travelers who live too far away for that to be a cost-effective solution. And because our average customer is a business traveler, they're only gone for 3 to 4 days on average. And so when you look at that price compared to taking an Uber or Lyft both directions, it's actually cheaper to go and park. And remember too that these are business travelers, so they're getting reimbursed as well. And they've been writing these off to their travel account for many years. So it's something that they're used to paying. There's no change there. And in fact, the demand for parking is increasing. The modernization projects that I mentioned at the top 20 airports, they all have parking expansion projects. And these are based on a 15 airport study that was completed last year in partnership with the US government and, some of these top airports. And it really does show that parking demand is increasing, fascinating enough.
And now is that normalizing out for things like population gain in a city or general population growth, or like maybe I don't know what the metric is it per capita airport car per month? Right. Is that number going up?
It is. Yeah. What's happening is, travel tends to get a little cheaper each year, surprisingly, and more people are traveling. And so your millennial demographic, I think we just took over as the most frequent business and pleasure travelers. And that demographic and the ones younger are going to continue to increase based on at least the current studies that we've been looking at and what airports are looking at. So overall enplanements are growing by 6%. That means people boarding a plane. That's growing by a really nice steady 6 to 8%, give or take the airport annually. And that's driving parking growth up anywhere from 4 to 5% per airport per year.
Interesting. What year did you found the company in?
We founded it in 2016.
Okay, and then you said you were doing the on-street parking, I guess, for a year or so, and then you pivoted. Was it not working?
Yeah, we didn't want to compete with parking meters and pay machines, and that's something that a lot of our competitors at the time, your SpotHeroes, ParkWhiz, it's something that they're going to continually have to deal with. Is how do you get consumers to switch over from using this 70-year-old process to using a mobile app?
Interesting. So, it wasn't, just to make that short and clear, you weren't making money in that business. You had to pivot.
We were making money. It was just not. During that time, we were making a couple $1,000s a month, and this was on a single pilot.
Okay, and so let's call it what you made $36,000 in 2016 on this model, top line.
Top line 15,000.
15,000. And who did you have to pay for? Did you have to pay meter companies or anyone else to get those rights? What was your biggest costs?
Our biggest cost was user acquisition. So we were doing direct sales to office managers. We were trying a monthly parking option for employees in downtown urban areas. And that was kind of our strategy for getting past the user acquisition hurdle for kind of your hourly parkers, people coming out at night and such. We were like, okay, let's establish a baseline, get monthly parkers to fill our spaces during the day, reoccurring revenue, count on it, and then we can have a little more relaxation around getting those hourly users. It's a tough market. People are used to their options, and it was something that investors, particularly, and why we really pivoted, is that investors are kind of tired of the mobile app parking solution. A lot of people in the space, some people being successful.
Who's winning?
Anybody that's invested in SpotHero and ParkWhiz are the two biggest ones.
So
investors.
Go ahead. I was going to say you pivoted, but you said you were tying it back to investors. How much have you raised?
So far, $150K from 500 startups.
Okay, got it. Good. And so I assume that was just the convertible note, the typical 5% for what, 7 or 150K?
Correct. Yeah. Yep. So far, bootstrapped until then.
Cool. Very cool. And what's your team size now?
We've got a team of 8. So co-founders, there's 5 of us. So it's a pretty stacked team.
5 co-founders?
Yep.
Woo.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I do not want to be at that coffee shop when the how do we split up equity conversation comes up.
It's already happened, but the nice
How'd
thing
you do
is,
that?
We actually did it flat across the board. This team's pretty badass.
You just divided by 5.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Come on. Okay. Now some people listening will go, oh, that's so lazy. They must have poor communication skills. They won't really talk about who's going to bring more or less value. How would you kind of counter that?
I'd counter it by, we are bootstrapped. So my 2 devs that are co-founders, they've been building everything for free. I've been closing deals and getting money and, doing the strategy for free. Our branding and growth expert has been building this and making this shit beautiful. And our COO has been making sure everything's balanced and high level of attention to detail to legal stuff. So it's such a balanced team, and nobody's asked for pay or reimbursement. Everybody's in it to win it for as long as we're in it. So it's hard to find a team like that, and we've all made pretty big sacrifices. So it was an easy decision.
So let's just real quick go. Let me ask this question. So no one's asking for pay. I imagine maybe some people are married or have kids or have expenses. How are people covering those expenses?
Sure. So last year it was a lot of contract work. So a lot of us were just picking up gigs, or a couple of us had full-time jobs. So it was just kind of like how much work can we put into this? When we launched in late summer last year, a couple of us had to come on board full time to make sure things worked. And
but for free, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So are you married? Do you have kids?
I don't know. Okay. Two of our co-founders are single like me with our kids, and then 3 of them are married with kids and houses and all that. So a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, interesting. And are they just, are basically going off savings of past jobs or consulting gigs on the side?
Exactly, both.
Yeah, very cool. So now's a pivotal time for you. You pivot away from kind of the on-street parking model. You did about 15,000 top line in 2016 to kind of this airport model, which it sounds like you're going to ramp up here quickly. You've got contracts out, maybe about 170 grand in monthly recurring revenue fairly fast. Don't talk about any specific city, but what is the model? Like, let's say Nathan Latka city is a city. What are you going to charge me for kind of putting your stuff at my airport?
Definitely. Well, because we replace so much outdated crap at the airport, we come in and we charge a flat fee per space. And that's right now for our current airport deals, the first initials. So we're giving a lot of stuff away for free. But as you know, trying to get your first big couple clients, you have to wiggle a little bit to close those deals. So it's a flat fee that we charge per space that we're managing per month.
Okay.
And it depends on market, but on average, we're right around $100 per space.
Okay, so flat fee per space per month of $100.
Yep.
Okay, got it. And what I have no idea what this number is. What's the average airport have in terms of spaces?
You'd be shocked. Your average top 10 airport's managing over 18,000 parking spaces.
18,000?
And some of them have twice or triple that.
Holy mackerel. Okay.
Yeah.
If you add up all the airports in the United States, what's your total market size there? How many parking spots?
Our market size as far as spaces, I kind of stop at the top 20, just because at that point you just kind of get past
like the 80-20 rule.
Yeah, but you're looking at over 4 million parking spaces.
That's incredible. Just in the U.S.?
Correct.
Okay, so got it. So look, the good thing about this kind of market is people say, what's your addressable market? It's actually very easy to calculate, right? The good news is someone's going, if you get an investor might go, if you get 100% of that market, it's still not a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm not interested. So you probably have other ideas for kind of revenue expansion. Again, I'm Nathan Latka, the city. How else are you going to get money from me?
Well, I talked about bookending the traveler experience. So something that's really cool about our tech is when a traveler is booking their flight, they're booking their parking at the same time in advance. So they're reserving their space. 24 hours, we shoot a check-in notice just like a plane or just like a flight. And then 2 hours before your flight, we're saying, hey, we've mapped the fastest route to the airport. And we can actually do traffic routing. So we're routing you the fastest way into the airport through the facility to your exact parking space. And then other products and features we're rolling out this summer will be shuttle tracking, so we know exactly when your shuttle's arriving. So I want to be able to tell our travelers, okay, when you leave your house, by the time you get to the terminal, it'll take you this exact amount of time, because we know when the shuttle's coming, how long the walks are. We're working on patenting a product that will track security lines, so wait times, really accurately. So that's another product that we can sell to Homeland Security, we can sell to airports. But more importantly, our vision and why we're doing this is I want a traveler to know when they look at their phone in the morning before they leave their house, what time will they arrive at the gate ready to get on the plane.
Mm-hmm. So Ben, when I think to myself, if you just give me that pitch and I'm going, should I install the app or not? I'm thinking, Google Maps does it for me. I get there and it's going to take me a minute or two to go around and find a spot. And I might have to walk to a shuttle, but I don't know that that's such a big enough pain point that I'm actually going to go install the application. How many people have installed the app so far?
Nobody.
Okay. So you're waiting to get these airports deals done to install the app.
Yeah, we start user acquisition in March for the contracts that we've done. The nice thing is, like I said, people have to park with us. So what we're doing actually is a little clever thing we learned from Venmo. We're using SMS initially. So if you want to come in and park, that's great. You can use the mobile app and park in this fancy little VIP area we have set up that's kind of annexed, but we're going to be using SMS. So you can text a short code, you get a reserved space, you can pay for it, and then of course we can follow up with download the app if you like this experience, and keep in touch with them that way. But
wait, so you just said when these airports are signing contracts with you, you're getting an exclusive. Anyone that parks there has to park through your app, no matter what. For the spaces annexed for Park Evergreen, correct. And eventually we'll take over entire facilities. And so the only way to park will be to use Park Evergreen. Oh, okay, got it. So if you add up the total spaces across all these 3 airports you have deals with, what percentage of space are they allocating to you?
For the initial pilots, we're doing 500 spaces. And so after those, because it's a city, we're going to do research, case study, white paper on all of that.
Percentage-wise, though, how much of the total spots is it?
Our pilots are, negligible percentage,
okay.
But our contracts talk about an expansion plan, and based on success metrics, which we're ironing out, we'll be expanding across these airports and ideally capturing about 85 to 90% of the parking facilities.
Well, so Ben, how do you guys have thought about this? I'm sure. So I'm curious what the answer is. Same question. If Nathan Latka, the city, is one of these early signers, and I'm someone that uses Nathan Latka City Airport a lot, how are you going to convince me to download the app to do this? And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, Google Apps plus a minute or two to find the parking, etc. What gets people over that hump?
Sure. So I mentioned SMS. Nobody's going to download this when they get to the airport. You're in a rush. You're trying to park. And so we've got a SMS system that's built in. So as soon as you pull in the airport and you take a ticket from the gate, you're getting a Park Evergreen ticket that has a short code on it. And you can actually just type in and pay for your parking through text message.
For everybody or just for your spots?
Everybody.
Got it. Okay. So you're building some kind of software into that little ticket machine where I have to take it when the gate opens.
Exactly. And you have the option to just pay as normal with that ticket, or if you'd rather pay ahead of time and get out faster through an express exit line, you can pay ahead of time with Park Evergreen via the text.
Got it.
And then we've got that number where we can text you, hey, if you like this, download the app. I don't need to go into all those details, but I think you got the idea.
Like I told you guys at the top of this episode, I have amazing data, and you guys know from my interview style, I love data. But what I love more than data is making it actionable via beautiful dashboards that I can view on my phone, on my TVs in my living room, or even on my laptop as I'm traveling. And the company that I use to create these dashboards, which pulls in data from my Libsyn backend, my Google Analytics backend, Salesforce, and other data sources, is called Clipfolio. You can see an example executive dashboard or my social media command center or my web metrics dashboard at nathanlatka.com/analytics. That's nathanlatka.com/analytics. And you can try it there for free for 3 months. Okay, it's Clipfolio. You can try it free for 3 months. Everybody else has to pay. So you get it free for 3 months. Alan's a good friend. He's the CEO of the company. He came on the show. I said, I love your product. Can I feature it? So nathanlatka.com/analytics. Go check it out now. Okay, Top Tribe, I have to tell you, many people go, Nathan, you came out of nowhere. Your website's growing so fast. How'd you do it? The answer is simple. So I use HostGator. I don't know if you guys know that, but I use HostGator. And the reason I do, they have about 4,500 free templates I can use because I don't code. They've got a great e-commerce plugin. And guys, I bug the heck out of their support. They've got 24/7 support, which I love. So what I've done is I've worked with them. You guys know I make great deals. If you go to HostGator.com/Nathan, you can sign up, get your own domain for 30% off and a 45-day money-back guarantee. Okay, again, I make great deals for you guys. Go to HostGator.com/Nathan to grab that now. Yep, I got it now. Very good. Okay, Ben, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Probably the Rough Riders.
Got it. Who wrote it?
It's by Theodore Roosevelt. It's not really a business book, but it tells you everything you need to know.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
As always, Elon Musk, and it's probably a standard answer, but he's real badass.
Number 3, is there a favorite online tool you have, like HostGator?
Yesware. Email tracking.
Yeah, that's a good one. We actually, guys, if you're interested in Yesware or kind of how their model works, we had Matt Bellows on back in what episode was that? That would have been episode 172. So nathanlatka.com/172. They just passed a $16 million annual run rate last year with a goal to pass 30 million here shortly. All right, number 4. Yes, how many hours of sleep do you get every night, Ben?
8.5.
That's pretty good. And what's your situation? Well, you're single, right? No kids?
No kids. I've got a long-term relationship with a partner. She's amazing. But,
okay, so not married.
Yeah.
All right.
Not married.
Not married, 0 kids, and how old are you?
33.
All right, last question. Take us back 13 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Execute faster.
to guys, there you have it from Ben. He wishes he could execute faster. Again, building Park Evergreen with about 177 grand of MRR, about to be booked with 3 airports, about 500 spaces per airport. Their business model is charging $100 per month per space at each airport. Again, a big scalable model, 4 million parking spots at the top 20 airports just in the United States. They have 8 employees, 5 co-founders. They split equity 20% each, about $150,000 raised from the 500 Startups program. Ben, thank you for taking us to the top.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. It was awesome.
If you enjoyed Ben today, go back and listen to James Sweeney yesterday. James has sold over $25 billion in terms of companies he's founded and exited in the medical technology space. He's raised over $2 billion throughout his lifetime, and he's now sitting on a new bet in the phototherapy space. So will it be a $1 billion bet? We'll see. It would mean the world to me if you guys got any value from this episode, if you would go leave a review on iTunes right now and then subscribe. You know, I hustle like heck to get these episodes out every freaking day for you guys, and trust me, I love it. I would do it with no listeners, but boy, oh boy, it makes my day and it makes my team's day when we see great reviews and get your feedback. So thanks so much. Okay, Top Tribe, I love giving away free money. I feel like Oprah giving away cars, and I have something special for you today. How many of you have heard our super sharp guests talk about success they've had with Facebook and Google Ads? Well, all of you listening right now, yes, if you're listening, you get $100 in free AdWords. Here's how you get it, okay? Again, thanks for listening. Get the free $100 from Google, right, when you sign up with my website host provider, HostGator. Go sign up now to get your free money. HostGator.com/Nathan. Again, that's HostGator.com/Nathan.